First, let's get something straight. Envy and jealousy are not the same thing. Jealousy comes up when you feel like something you already have is being threatened, like in relationships, if you fear losing your partner's attention to someone else. Or, as I said in the jealousy video, you are feeling a certain type of way because you feel jealous of somebody who has something that you believe that you cannot have. So your belief system is in the wrong. Envy, on the other hand, arises when you see someone else having something that you don't have yet, but that you believe you can have. So, envy is not about feeling like you can't have it. Envy is about wanting what someone else has and believing you can have it for yourself. Jealousy is about fearing loss and being insecure in some way still, right? And this difference is very key because envy is often a roadmap to your own desires, while jealousy is about insecurity and negativity over losing what's already yours or what isn't yours yet and you believe you cannot have it in the first place. Envy is often seen as very ugly and shameful and something that you shouldn't admit to, just like jealousy. But let's be real, everyone feels it at some point in time. Envy arises when you see someone else having or experiencing something that you deeply desire as well, but don't yet have. So it's the sting of, oh, why not me? That comes from comparing your timeline and your success and your beauty and your love life or whatever it is that you're comparing to someone else's. But here's the thing, envy is actually a signal to you. So it's not random and it's also not pointless. Envy just points directly to what you desire, but haven't fully allowed yourself to claim yet. So when you see it and when the universe presents it to you, it's because it is possible for you as well. It's like your subconscious holding up a mirror saying, look, this is where you're denying yourself. This is what you truly want, though. The problem isn't envy itself, the problem is what you do with it. If you let envy just linger around, it turns into resentment and bitterness and gossiping and tearing other people down just to feel better about yourself. That's when envy becomes very toxic. And that's when it's confused with jealousy as well, because they are very similar in that way. And that's when it becomes poison to your own spirit. But if you learn to channel envy, it becomes your fuel, right? Just like every other emotion, when you alchemize it, when you transform it into something positive, it shows you where your next expansion lies, where you still need to work on yourself. Think about it. The reason that you feel envy isn't because you're a bad person, right? It's because you're recognizing something that resonates with your own desires. You just don't have it yet. So, envy is proof that the possibility of you having it exists, because if you can see it in someone else's reality, it means it exists in the field of possibility for you as well. Some future version of you already has it. You just need to align to that version of you. The danger is when envy leads to the belief that someone else having it means that you can't. So when it transforms into that jealousy, that's lack mindset, that's separation. The truth is, their abundance does not take away from yours. There's enough for everyone in the universe. God gives everyone everything if they want it. The universe is not a pie with limitless slices, right? It's someone else's win is not your loss. In fact, it's just evidence for you. It's a living example for that what you want is actually possible for you. So, how do we alchemize envy? First, again, naming it without the shame. So it's not just about naming it, it's the first step is admitting that I feel envy, but most people push it down and pretend that they are not jealous, but denial keeps you stuck. Owning it strips away the shame and allows you to work with it consciously, because shame, we've talked about it, just another emotion that you have to admit to, that you have to feel compassionate about. So you need to name it without the shame, without shaming yourself, without bashing yourself, without the negative self-talk. And can it just be okay that you feel envious? Can it just be okay that you see someone have something that you want as well? Like sometimes that stings, and that's totally fine. So just make it real for yourself and admit that you feel that way. Then you need to ask yourself, what is envy pointing to? So instead of spiraling into that comparison, you need to turn your envy into your clarity. What is this person showing me that I want? Get clear on it. What desire is being triggered in me? What in me, what potential in me have I not fulfilled yet? What am I not doing right now that I could be doing? Envy is simply a spotlight on your unclaimed dreams. It's simply shedding a light on the shadows that you haven't made conscious yet. Then, with that, you need to flip the perspective. So instead of saying, why not me? Just start saying, thank you for showing me that it's possible for me too, right? And you don't need to be cringe and actually use that language. Say it as authentically to you as possible. But every time envy shows up, you need to reframe it just as evidence that the field of potential is open to you, that God is showing you what is possible for you. So use it as a motivation and not more poison to bring yourself down. Then that envy can be turned into action. That's your next step. Envy without movement becomes stagnation, like every other emotion. So once you know what envy is pointing toward, what it is showing you, you need to take a step, no matter how small, toward that desire, right? Action transforms envy into actual empowerment. So that's when you don't feel envious anymore, because you made it your own reality, or you're working towards making it your own reality, right? It just disappears into thin air. And then celebrate instead of compete, because competition can be healthy, but in most cases it is very toxic because people don't know how to handle it. This is the real alchemy. When you can genuinely celebrate others while also moving toward your own expansion, so while also taking action, envy loses its grip. That's when I said it just disappears. Their win becomes an invitation instead of a threat to you, right? Again, it's just showing you something that you haven't done yet, that you haven't pursued yet, that you haven't realized yet. And I need to be very clear here. Don't let envy consume you. There are people who live in constant comparison, constantly scrolling, constantly measuring themselves against others, and in unhealthy and toxic competition with others to the point that they're in competition with their own best friend. And it eats them alive. And I've been there as well. But envy is just showing you what you haven't pursued yet, but what you can still have. So if you don't handle it, if you don't bring it to your conscious mind, you become bitter and self-loathing and even hateful toward those who have what you want. That's not power. That's victimhood disguised as superiority. Envy is meant to fuel you and to drive you and not to rot you from the inside out. It's meant to reveal where you've been playing small, where you haven't lived up to your full potential, not to make you tear others down, not to make you hate your own friend. If you let envy run unchecked, you will sabotage your own progress because you will be too busy obsessing over someone else's path instead of walking your own. And I've been there. I've done that for years on end. So the work here is to stand back in your power, to recognize that envy is just another guidepost and not a curse to you. Don't imprison yourself in your emotions. Let it sharpen and refocus your clarity, to let it move you, but never let it harden you into that bitterness and that resentment and that toxicity. Envy is just unclaimed desire in disguise. So when you alchemize it, it becomes one of the greatest catalysts for your growth. You're gonna skyrocket if you apply it the right way. Because every time you feel it, you are actually being reminded of what's possible for you.